Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do and show you some watercolor testing because since I use a lot of watercolor, these are all the things that I have already have tested on my mixed media. This is for watercolor sheets. So I have a couple of different brands that I already tested, and this is the way you can tell whether or not it's a good brand or not by doing the black marker first, and then you go ahead and you put your watercolor over it. So this was a test that I did with all my watercolors, and I'm going to show them to you right now. If I can, should have grabbed them first, obviously, but of course, not that smart, people, not that smart. So I have, this is the cheap $5 36 colors, which it was these. So as you can see from here, using this one, it is pretty good, but when you touch it, it leaves sort of like a mark. So, it leaves a mark on your fingers. But for $5 to start with, it wasn't bad. I love it because it has so many different color options. Bella usually uses this one a lot. Then I had my $5 tin. These are from Michael. So this one was from Michael as well. It's a $5 tin. And this one didn't do so bad. And it feels a little chalky, but not as much as the other $5. So that one was this one. The test that you do is to see how far, this is to see if it goes through your black markings or your sort of like your trace. This is to see if you can layer it, and this one is to see how it reacts with the water, like how it spreads. So as you can see, that one spread pretty good, but when you touch it, it's very chalky. This one didn't spread too good, did layer really good, and you can still see the black mark. So that's not considered really good. My Tombow brushes, obviously you can layer it. It didn't do too good with the water, but it did really good with the black line. Like I can still see, you don't see it over the black line. These were my tubes, which it was these. I put them in here, and I have them in here, which is the same tubes. But I ended up changing it from here to here because it was more covered in this little container than it was here. As you can see, they dried out and it chipped and it went everywhere. So to me, I didn't like this because then obviously I lost a lot of paint. This was a little bit easier. I just used this to mix the colors. So that was the tubes, and then these of course doesn't have, you can layer it, it doesn't have any chalky feeling, and you can still see the black line. So these were from Amazon. I brought these at Amazon, and it mixed up pretty well, and I still see color. And then these were my water pencils, which are in here. These I got from Wish. I think like $5 for all these colors, which is not bad. And I still see the black line. Obviously you can go ahead and layer it, but that didn't do too good. Now the next test I wanted to do was, the reason for the video is that I want to go on this side and show you guys what really is waterproof, right? So like I picked two of my Flare colors, Papermates. I have my Faber Castell, or Castell. I have obviously the Tombow I forget. This is like the calligraphy pen. Then I have my Micron pen, and I have my Stellar pigment pen, and I have, if I can find it should be in here, my Illustrated Face pen. So I'm loaded with pens, people. Loaded. Because, you know, I'm a hoarder when it comes to this kind of stuff. And, of course, then I have I wanted to show you guys the Tombow. Then I have my regular Energel pen. And what else do I have that I use? Nope, that's it. That's all I use. So I wanted to do marks and then show you that to see if it works with watercolor. So we have the Energel pen. Alright. We have the Tombow. I can tell you right now that the Tombow doesn't work for you to write and then use watercolor over it because they're water based, I think. Or so when you use these as watercolor, they end up smudging. This is the Illustrated Face. Illustrate Face pen. I use all of these. I'm just very careful when I'm using watercolor. This is Micron. This one is the Tombow. Let's use calligraphy. And we can do Tombow. It's a little rough to write on this paper because it's actually a painting paper. Let's not use red. We'll use Papermate. These are the pens that I use in my bullet journal. Then I have the Faber-Castell. Then I have Staedtler. Alright, so let's see. If I take my water pen, obviously it looks dirty, but it's not going to give you any color. That's what happens to the pens after a while. See, no color, it's clear. So it's wet now. So now if I go like this, see, you can't watercolor on top of Energel. Let's clean it up. The Tombow, same thing. You can't watercolor on top of Tombows. Illustrated Face. No matter how much I go over it, it's perfect. Let's clean it up. Micron, you can't. It's not waterproof. The calligraphy pen, perfect. Papermate, nope. Faber-Castell pen, perfect. And the Staedtler, nope. So, as you can see, if you write with this regular pen, obviously it's not waterproof, it's going to smear. The Tombows, obviously they're going to smear. So if you write on your bullet journal or you do some kind of writing and then you want to do watercolor, it's a bust. The Micron, very disappointed because it does say that is a Micron pigmented ink for waterproof and fade proof. Well, we just proved that it's not. The Paper Mate, obviously, a lot of people love these. I love them, but if you're going to watercolor, it's not going to work. And your Steadler is not going to work, which is kind of sad because it does say that it is waterproof on paper right there. Waterproof on paper, and we just proved that it didn't. So the only three that are waterproof that worked is the calligraphy pen, the illustrative faith, and the Faber-Castell pens are the only ones that work if you're going to do any watercoloring in your bullet journal and you don't get this. I mean, this one is still like wet and nothing. Like, that's kind of cool. So let me dab these out because I want to close the book. But at least you know that you're not able to. I do end up using my Tombows for watercolor, but if it ever gets wet, obviously that's what's going to happen. I do my watercolor pencils, the same thing happens. They get reactivated. So if it gets wet, it's going to smear everywhere. The $5 ones are going to do the same thing. So the only ones that are able to not end up reactivating is the ones I brought at Amazon, and of course they're more expensive, but what can you do? Thank you for watching. God bless. Thumbs up.